bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it 2 weeks ago. I thought.
All right.
Are we in? Are we having it?
Yeah, it is recording. So it is 4 o'clock. So we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Where's your body part?
With the kids.
Lisa.
Okay. So, we got Lisa too?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and start with roll call. I don't know if Ben has the agenda in front of him. Do you want? Okay, you want to do a roll call then?
Let's do some roll call.
All right.
Everybody ready?
Yes.
Hey, Ben.
Okay, Doug Mendenhall,
Absent.
absent. Michaela Hammerson,
Here.
John is still
I see him raising his
here. I
hand.
see him.
Here
Todd Vaughn, Mr.
That's
Vaughn,
me.
you here?
I'm here.
I love it. Greg Kennerly, welcome.
Thank you. Here.
Good to see you. I wish I was in person today to meet you in person. We'll do it next time.
That sounds good to me.
Kathy Carreri,
Present.
there she is. Lisa Lanza, I saw you. You're here.
I'm present.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Back to you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move to the Pledge of Allegiance. If you are at home, you can follow along, but please put yourself on mute or we'll get a really bad echo. Kathy, you wanna lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. So if there is no objection to this, I'm actually gonna move number 5 up above our consent agenda. So we can get Greg sworn in and let our notary go so he doesn't have to wait for too long. And then also then Greg can vote on the consent agenda.
So he's our special guest. the
Yeah,
notary.
yes.
Yeah.
So is everybody okay with moving that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So. Are you ready? All right, so we're gonna need your ID. What else do you need from him? Just his ID. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and do this oath just really quickly.
Okay.
So, you're gonna raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Greg Kennerly,
Hi, Greg.
do solemnly swear
You solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of
that
America,
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of
the
Oregon,
Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof.
and that I will faithfully
I will faithfully
and honorably
And honorably
perform
perform
the duties of
the duties of
Umpqua Public Transportation District Director,
Umpqua Transportation District
Director,
Director, okay,
to which I have been appointed,
which I've been appointed,
to the best of my ability,
best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Perfect. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and sign that.
Okay.
You should have heard Lisa and I doing it together in unison.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
I'm wondering,
Have my wallet, my squad car. though.
to the best of my ability.
Oh,
sounds like it's-
we do need to grab it for him to notarize. You have your ID.
I think it's in, I just came out of court and I had it I don't think I have it with me in my car.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I-
can't notarize
Gotta have
that.
Aggie.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
have, passport or something like that maybe with you, or a picture of it?
Let's see. Let me see.
Do you have your ID,
Yeah,
police ID?
yeah, it's,
Do you have, like an employee badge or something to that effect?
yeah, I've got all that in my squad car. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, we keep all that inside there.
Okay.
Hang on a minute, let me see, I might have a copy of it.
It is so warm in here. Is it warm? Or is it just me?
Okay, so what we can do with the credible witness, if you don't have your ID on you, if one of you guys have an ID on you? And what you're gonna do is, we're gonna do a credible
I
witness.
have my ID here.
May I see the man? Would you like to
Let's
vouch for
do-
him and just you vouch that he is who
You
he
should
says
do
he
it.
is?
Was that, well,
You should do it
sure, I can do it.
because
I know.
they know each other
Okay.
better.
He is
Yeah.
who he says he is?
This is Greg Kennerly
I
right
was
here.
married
That's
to
who
a
we're gonna do it.
does that count?
So this is-
Yeah.
This will be, charge me after just a second.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
I guess that's fine.
Copy.
Bill Sherry.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't have to pay them before he leaves.
I vouched for you the
Oh,
other day. when we
That's
were
fine. Yeah, I
in
can
there
kind
considering
of run
it,
it.
so I guess I should vouch for you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Doug is
Yeah, I
present,
just had- yeah, I don't have any.
present.
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
everything in
I
my,
think I'm gonna grab
in my
one of
squad
those.
car.
This one is, I moved the right way and it was bucking me.
Oh,
Is that a bucker?
What is it?
Is it? If not, we need one of those chairs.
Oh, sure, I'll get it
or
for
do you
I'll
want
get it,
the,
Kathy.
that one?
Sure.
That one's comfy.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a heavy chair.
Here, then let me get it
I'll
for you.
let you
Thank
get it
you.
for her.
You're welcome.
You have that-
I'm not sure I can do this.
You have that when you drive.
I'm just kidding, I just need to pull it here.
Thank you. You're such a gentleman.
He is a gentleman.
Thanks, so good to see you. I love you, sister.
You too.
Wow. Okay, hold on one second.
Is that
I
better?
kind of, oh, well, it's so much better, just, I'm not gonna fall
Yes.
on camera.
Well, we need to replace these chairs.
But- I also sit higher,
Yeah,
so I kind of think that I should start addressing myself in the royal plural.
you should.
Kieran, Gigi.
So
We are doing just fine.
when we make a motion, we won't have to have it seconded.
P.O. Box 46.
Thank you guys for your patience online. We're just getting Greg sworn in and the notary is taking care of the notary things.
He's doing notary stuff.
He's doing notary stuff.
And then once this is done, Greg will be able to participate in voting, so
I'll just step out and tell you how long you guys are doing that stuff.
the minutes and, okay,
Yes.
all right.
So glad to have you.
Exciting.
And then you gotta make a copy of it too, so he can have it.
Oh, okay.
Some people like to bring them. Yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork every time.
Yeah, we have a lot of paperwork to go through, for sure,
So
so,
that packet, it was just kind of like, I started scrolling through and it's like,
if you guys wanna start looking at the minutes, we're gonna be moving into that here in just a second, so if you haven't had a chance to read through them. Just take a quick look, it's not, they're not super long, about 2.5 pages.
The draft minutes.
Mhm.
are there two of them? Right?
Perfect, all right, he's official, if you wanna get him paid and.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, we appreciate your help, especially last minute.
So which ones are you gonna look at first, these minutes, the 4th and November 4th or October?
Yeah, that's on top for me.
Okay.
That's not, or,
No.
well,
October-
it is, it's
October
listed in
was-
the other way, yeah, flip them around.
So you gonna look at which one first? The older one or the newer one?
I think both.
Both, okay.
Here are the other minutes, I'm missing them.
They were back to back in the folder.
Oh, I
on
lied
the
to you
left
guys,
Side.
I lied, it's longer than I said, I thought that was both of them.
I have to stop making so many motions.
I know you did make a lot of motions.
Well, because I just do it the easy way.
Do we have our, Department of Transportation's lady with us today?
Boardman, yes.
Jennifer, yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
You guys just let me know when you're ready to review these or vote on them. I know the board packet didn't get out until late, so I understand.
I had skimmed through twice.
I did send these out, when I completed them, I think. To you guys might have already seen them.
It's kind of hard to look at minutes this far after the fact and remember what happened.
I know, October 21st was a while ago.
I look at,
I think you remember this.
I look at probably the person maybe doing the minutes would have a better job of getting them recorded than I would of remembering.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, I thought you remembered that meeting.
Yeah,
That
I'm glad that's,
yeah,
part of the, written record.
It is. All right, are you guys ready to approve these minutes? Can I ask for any edits, any corrections?
Which one do you wanna do first, Michaela? Which,
Let's do October 21st. Any corrections?
I make a motion to, accept the minutes for October 21st as they're written.
second. This is the.
Okay. Kathy?
Are all these what we're talking about?
Yeah, there's two sets, so one would be for the 31st.
All right, are all those in favor of approving the
Yeah.
October 21st minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And you. can
All
kind of
right,
recuse
so
the
November
minutes
4th.
and do it at the meeting.
Any corrections? All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, Kathy moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Todd second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All right, we already accomplished number 5, so look at this, we're like ahead of schedule.
Greg abstained in those because he wasn't at the meetings.
Yes,
Oh, okay. So we have 6 yes then.
thank you very much. All right, okay, we're gonna move into our compliance update, things, and before we get started on this. I do want to very publicly thank Sherry for everything that she's done. She's worked really hard with Andre and also with George. And, Ben, of course, has been leading that effort, and I just appreciate all of the time that's been spent. We have, our 30-day, action items from the compliance review that are due next week. And so that's part of the reason we're having this special meeting is to go through these things that are on the 30-day checklist. And they have been working really long hours to make sure that these policies and procedures and all of these things are updated. The documentation is together. Sherry had another call earlier today with ODOT, and she worked late last night doing the stiff stack committee.
Yeah.
So super huge thank you to her and to everybody that's
Thank
been
you, Sherry.
helping.
Thank goodness
You
I don't
have
have
to-
any young children at home.
I think this has become your child.
I'm buying her a steak dinner.
Okay, so the first one is to review the records retention policy. So this is based off of the RLS compliance review, item number 32046. UPTD must develop a record retention policy that meets or exceeds FTA grant and ODOT record retention requirements. At a minimum, all grant agreements and associated contracts must be maintained for 3 years beyond the award closeout date. The Special Districts Association also has model policies in this regard that may be of use to UPTD. So this was not reviewed by RLS. I don't believe it was provided to them, but we already had a records retention policy, which is this document for those of you who are here.
Adopted by the previous board.
Yes, it was adopted April 19th of 2021. I went through this earlier with Ben, and the direction to double check the Special Districts Association model policies, they referenced OAR, what is it? It's in here. OAR 166150-0005. And basically just is the, Oregon, records retention policy, so that's already in here. And I believe that we're okay to just move forward with this just being marked as reviewed, and we should be in compliance with this finding now that this has been provided to ODOT. Jennifer was given this document earlier today, but I don't know if she had a chance to review it. Jennifer, do you have any comment on this satisfying that requirement?
Why were we out of compliance, Michaela? Was there any particular reason if this was already in place?
Because we didn't
didn't-
provide it
Oh,
to
we didn't
RLS.
Provide it.
Her
Oh.
sound will not work, she has.
Oh. She hasn't had a
I
chance
have
to read it.
not had a chance to
Okay.
read it, okay.
I believe that this is going to be sufficient. RLS was not provided with it. They didn't believe that we had a records retention policy. That's specifically why it says UPTD must develop a record retention policy, but we already have one. And it does reference the FTA requirements in here.
Were we in compliance before, since this has been done?
Technically, we were not out of compliance. We just failed to provide it to
No,
RLS.
but I mean, since this was in 21,
Mhm.
had there been a review before that we were found in compliance of?
No, we were actually found out of compliance because I don't believe we provided it. I think we adopted this in response
To the
To-
original?
to an original finding.
Okay, so
that
we've
we-
never shown it then.
So
I don't know.
I believe that they had a site review like in March or April, just before I started.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that's what
What prompted
prompted
this.
this policy
Okay.
to be developed. And why it just didn't get provided to
Right.
them at this site review, I don't know, so.
Okay.
But I was able to find it in the archives and pull it out, and
Mhm.
we did already have one.
We'll have to call you Dora.
So how often do they do these site reviews, Jerry?
Every.
No, they're
Oh,
done about
no,
every 3 years.
Every.
Every
3
3
that's
years.
right.
And you have to have forms like
Mhm.
this for them to actually look
Yep.
at.
You do,
I see.
you have to have.
Do we have like an attorney that looks at, make sure they're in compliance? Because the only one with the ORS is they're usually, I mean, that's somebody that's gotta be familiar with it, right?
Sometimes we have our attorney review policies, but we have, since we're a special district, we have support from the Special Districts of Oregon. It's Special Districts of Oregon Association or
Special District Association
Association of Oregon. Thank you. That's SDAO, yes.
Yes.
And so they do have attorneys and they provide sort of like outlines of like what you need to do to be in compliance as a special district.
Okay.
So we have that support. And then Jennifer from ODOT is basically assigned to our district and she helps us sort of navigate these things as well. So like
Okay,
ODOT will have certain requirements. They're very familiar with like FTA
Right.
guidelines. So
okay,
that sort of, it filters down to us. So
so she would be the expert then.
yeah, and sometimes we do, if we're like developing something from scratch, like we will run certain things through our attorney, or like when we've done contracts in the past. We have him review the contracts before we enter in.
Okay.
Well, we do have a compliance officer that Ben Hedl, our general manager, recently hired. Is that correct, Ben?
Yeah.
That is in fact correct. Yeah, well, there's a lot. Yeah, he's amazing. So he's a wealth of knowledge. He has 20 years experience running government large budget organizations, and just is really just off the top of his head very knowledgeable about practices and regulations. So he's very, very strong.
Okay,
We've
perfect.
got our own guy.
We got, okay. I was gonna say,
Yep.
that, I've dealt with
Okay,
ORS
or
stuff. That's-
Sherry. When we have this compliance
Got a guy.
review, is there usually a checklist that you have what they need and you check off that you're gonna have it and present it to them?
Yeah,
Jennifer posted in the remarks here that, we usually, that they can provide, they usually will provide samples to us from other agencies that have already, had compliance reviews
Yeah.
and were compliant,
Mhm.
Okay.
so. it's
Which is
just-
where we got our procurement policy. from.
Right,
Right.
but I'm saying, do we usually have a checklist for all the things they need to see to make
Yes.
sure we're in? So it just walked through that checklist to them.
Um,
I mean, not, not,
RLS was not provided with everything, even though there was a request sent out, and by the time they came here to do their compliance review, everything had not been provided.
okay. So it's just,
They did send us a checklist of things that they were going to ask us for.
so
that
this
we
is
can be
something
more
that's easily remedied
prepared.
and easily not have a problem in the future. Okay.
So in the future, we get that checklist and then we're gonna give it to the expert and have them go through it.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes, yep,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and
so
manage that very tightly.
Oh, there she is.
I'm using my phone for sound, because my computer is freaking out on me today. So yes, what we typically do is when you get assigned a review, you have a 60-day notice that ODOT sends out. So you have, this notice 60 days ahead, and it has a checklist of all the documents you should be working on getting them updated and everything like that. And then 30 days ahead, they send out a link and they ask you to upload all the documents that they've asked for. And the more that you upload, they do a desk review of all your documents. And that's where you guys didn't have a lot of those documents uploaded. So it took a lot longer at the review than it typically does. But if you get them uploaded, they can review them. And then they just have a few questions that they have to ask for each one. So you'll be in great shape for the next one.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a lot easier process than we've made it.
Yes.
We also have multiple managers within the district that are now having access to these things that they didn't have access to before, which is gonna make collaborating on
Yeah.
this and complying a lot easier, right?
And they're
Yes.
working like a team.
I know, they are working like a team, they're amazing. Okay, so there's no action needed on that, that was just informational only. And I think we've gone through questions, so if you guys are okay, I'm gonna move to 6.2, unless I hear a question. Okay, 6.2, review and approve theft prevention policy, so this I am going to let you speak to it, it's this one, right?
Okay,
Because you work with George
I
on
worked
this one?
with George on this one.
Okay. All right.
So 6.2, review and approve the theft prevention policy. The requested action was per the RLS compliance review 5-2048. And it said that FTD must establish adequate intercontrols and segregation of duties to safeguard assets. UPTD must evaluate job descriptions, assign duties, and human resources to ensure that there is sufficient segregation of duties to protect the organization from loss or theft. UPTD must write a summary of steps taken in this regard, and if the proposed internal control requires use of the facility camera system, the summary must include a description of how the facility camera system will be used to monitor staff counting cash, who has been delegated to perform this function, and how the camera system will be controlled. So Cheryl and I were working on the fiscal policy before she left. The board approved that fiscal policy in October, and we had already removed the camera system from the fiscal policy. It's not really something that we have two people that are counting together, and then we have a third person that's counting after them to verify the paperwork matches the count and all of that. So there was also another section that talked about the theft, to prevent theft of like the bus tickets and passes. And I believe that came from an interview that they had with our downtown office gal, our office manager down there. She's down there by herself. She orders the bus ticket passes from the printing company. She receives them. She divvies them out. She sells them. She collects the money. She makes the deposit. So there just really was no oversight
Right.
over her. She was doing it all. So George and I discussed this morning, and the recommendation that George made was to add on this control grid, to add a few more rows that talked about logging and maintaining records for the bus passes and the tickets, and having some other of our employees be involved in that. So that she is not just the only person handling this stuff, and that there is some clear oversight. So we added logs and maintains records for the unsold bus passes, tickets, and ticket books. We assigned that to the fleet maintenance and procurement manager, and to the APAR coordinator. They already are somewhat involved in that process, so what it will look like is the procurement officer will actually order the tickets
Mhm.
and then verify that we get what we order.
Mhm.
And then he will be responsible for assigning some of them to the downtown office. And then what doesn't get sold if they expire, because some of those bus passes are for only a month and they have the month on them. So then if they don't get sold, he will reconcile with the office manager down there and get those tickets back and log that they were unsold, and then we can,
Mhm.
I'm not sure, I mean, we'll have to keep them for a certain period of time, I believe, but then, we can destroy them after, because they are essentially like cash, you don't want them just laying around.
Mhm.
And then we added, records the sales of the bus tickets, passes and ticket books, and we assigned that to the office manager at the downtown office, and then also, Leanna as the APAR coordinator as a backup, because she does fill in for Cindy sometimes
Mhm.
when Cindy's on vacation. Reconciles the sales of the bus passes, tickets and ticket books. That's going to fall on myself. I will do the reconciliations at the end of the month, like I do with all of my other bank reconciliations. Cindy already does provide me every day with her deposits, but I'm gonna start getting involved in, doing those, deposits. We're gonna take the deposit, her actually taking it to the bank. I will start doing that, so she's not preparing the deposit slip and taking it to the bank and all of that, so. I did add a check mark up in the prepares the deposit and deposit slips. I added an additional, couple check marks for the APAR coordinator and myself. And then I will take it to the bank, or the APAR coordinator will take it to the bank.
Which one is that?
That's a little bit further up. It's about halfway down. It says, prepares deposit and deposit slips and then takes deposit slip to the bank. And then there's another row that was added, records and destroys unsold, unusable bus passes. And I was going to ask Jennifer while we have her on here. Can we as long as we are logging and keeping a record of the unsold, unusable tickets, can we destroy them so that they can't actually ever be gotten into?
Think so, because as long as you have a record of what you took in, what you sold and what you destroyed, then
Right,
be a reason why you should keep those, as long as you have the records that you save for the 3 years, that you should be saving stuff. So,
okay, okay, yeah, cause right now she's got like boxes of these.
Oh, seriously?
Yes, and, they're not locked up, they're just down. We don't have a theft problem. Cindy's actually really, really very diligent about stuff, but, just, we need to have oversight over that office down
Yeah,
there.
would it fall,
We just,
is this state or is it federal? Is it all state if the crimes are, if it's stolen?
Oh, probably both.
it could be both.
Mhm.
Would be federal if it's on the grant monies from the feds,
Mhm.
but if it's state, then we call it the state ORSs.
And we get both.
We have.
We have both.
Okay, so we
Mhm.
could either deal with the FBI or the,
Yeah.
okay.
Does Cindy work for us? I mean,
She does. She's our office manager at the downtown office.
Okay.
She is in the location where all of the public can go and buy their passes and tickets, and the bus drivers use that facility as well for their lunches and things like that, but it just the oversight has been lacking, and it really, we really need to rein that in and get it under.
She's usually the only one.
She is the only one there, other than the drivers that come in and out of there,
So
so.
if she's sick.
If she's sick, we have Leanna who's trained, and we're in the process of training a third person just to have coverage so that we don't have to close that office down.
and the APAR, is that accounts paid, accounts received,
Yes.
and is that you?
No, Ben with the reorganization has kind of moved we had an administrative gal downstairs,
Huh?
and he has, moved her into an APAR coordinator for me. since Andre is down there doing procurement and with the office, the supervisors down there, they still have 3 of them that are still handling all of the paperwork. And,
And that's where this is ultimately resolved, is with accounts payable and accounts received. I mean,
yeah,
the
and
numbers
just
gotta match
having
up.
me have some general oversight. I mean, I do have some oversight with her. She does submit all her documentation to me and I do some reconciliations, but we just really need to have another layer of accountability.
A more on-site type layer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big requirement from the federal government, and what RLS is looking for is segregation of duties so that you don't have one person that is doing every step along the way. Just like you have at your main campus, you have Sherry that, you know, she counts the money after another group has counted it, after another person has recorded it, and then she deposits it. So you have these segregations of duties, and that's what they're looking for.
And it sounds redundant, and it is, but it's just accountability. It's still be accountable.
Sure.
and, You know, yeah.
Exactly.
It's probably the number one blue collar crime is, embezzlement from
Right.
businesses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have we ever had that?
Or white collar. crime.
We have not had that here, but when RLS was here, they did tell a story about one of an agency that, was taking those unused tickets. And instead of destroying them, they were going out in the public and like selling them half price and making money. Yeah, they had a little side job going on.
Yeah.
So, we haven't had that, and Cindy does keep very good record of the ticket books, and she marks them when a driver sells them or whatever. There are a lot of those records, but we just need to have another layer
Mhm.
Sure.
of,
Checks and balances.
yes.
Okay, so this is going to be added to the fiscal policy, correct?
Yeah, so I think that we just need to ask the board, so it's just this single page in the fiscal policy that's being changed. So if the board is in agreement with it, then I can just update the fiscal policy with this information and we can send it to ODOT.
I make a motion that we update the fiscal policy that includes the control grid changes that we're looking at here tonight.
Yeah, second that.
All right. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. All right, looks like it passed anonymous or
Anonymous.
Greg, you seconded that, right?
Yes.
You did.
I think if we get a chance to, if we can kind of get a chance to walk through how we're doing that. That'd be great.
What's, as far as what goes now?
The way that the tickets and all that, how that works. I don't have a clue how all that works with,
Mhm.
and then what you're doing to keep preventing from
Yeah,
a crime happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
it would be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
come and do a tour.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome.
Well, I'm interested to see what part is the federal side and what's is the state. That's,
I think it's hard to delineate because it's both state and federal money.
Everything gets mixed.
to mix together.
Yes, to have the buses going.
It
So you
is,
could be both, and you could have
Yeah.
federal charges and state.
it probably would be both,
It probably would.
because they are so intermeshed.
Just so,
See, that's gonna be.
And the amount of funds that we get are, our state money is our majority of our money, but the federal money is right behind it. I mean, it's not much less than what we get.
But everything's
so-
being accounted, like the federal money's gonna be going for this, this and this, right? And then the
Well-
state money goes for this, this and this. Is-
The federal government puts in a certain percentage and the state puts in, the way I'm looking at it from the meetings we've had,
Mhm.
they each insert an amount of money. And then we sometimes have to buffer in our money to make it complete, to have the full amount that we need. So you should come to a stiff staff meeting.
Yeah.
Start getting a little better understanding of how
Yeah.
crazy it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of to prosecute somebody.
It would,
So-
I would think it would be overlapped, it would go through, but I mean, if it's overlapped, probably with the feds wanna take it. I mean, cause it seems like, or they do it and then pass it down or something.
I mean,
like
it's
that.
really not anybody's money, but when you have ticket books, they are essentially like cash. You're selling them to
Right.
I mean, technically, we're a special district, so
Right.
I don't know what that does.
If I saw how the operation worked, I'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And just so Jennifer knows, Jennifer, Greg is a police officer for the tribe. So the reason he's asking these
That's
legal
why.
questions is this is how he makes his living.
Yeah. Try to prevent.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna keep this moving, cause I gotta be out of here by 5:30, so Todd might be taking over. Oh, wait, no, John's online. John,
There he is.
you might be right at the end of
Thanks,
this meeting.
Jennifer.
Is that because
Okay.
of the other meeting?
Yeah,
Our compliance, officer just joined, George.
oh, perfect,
Yeah.
awesome, welcome, George.
All right.
Okay, so 6.3, review single audit procedure for subrecipients. So, per RLS compliance review, number 9-2052. UPTD must require all lower tier subrecipients that are required to conduct a single audit to submit the audit report to UPTD no more than 30 days from when the subrecipient receives the report. UPTD must require that subrecipients to submit a corrective action schedule for resolving single audit findings associated with the FPA grants. This corrective action does not require the lower tier subrecipient audits to be completed within the time frame if they have not been completed. Rather, proof must be submitted to UPTD, or that UPTD has put any applicable lower tier subrecipients on notice of their requirements, including setting a deadline for such submissions. So this is informational only, but Sherry has already requested these. We only have one subrecipient that is
Has been triggered to do a
Right.
single audit.
and their single audit is not complete. It's not gonna be completed until the end of this month.
Yeah, they're working on it, just like we're working on ours,
Mhm.
our deadlines to, the state. And I think the feds, I don't know, is 12/31, so, our audit is currently still underway. Along with our single audit, and so is the city of Reedsport.
Is this gonna be related, would this be related to Reedsport then? when we're
Yes,
talking about- okay.
this is related to Reedsport.
Yeah.
And then, the informational part is this procedure for resolving single audit findings for lower tier subrecipients. And there's a second one, right? Oh, did it not? get
Oh.
printed?
Yeah, I guess I just thought because it was.
Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, there is a second one. It doesn't matter. We can send these
I
out
can
to
send
you
them out.
guys later because it doesn't require a vote. But,
The
the procedures were put together by George. And so we do have procedures in place, but it's not a policy, so we don't need to approve it. They can handle that at the operational level.
All right,
But just informational that additional 30-day thing, it should be checked off of our. Any questions on that? Okay, 6.4, review Title VI policy. I'm losing my voice and I have to keep reading these things. Okay, requested action per RLS compliance review 23-2066, UPTD must adopt a single Title VI notice to the public, removing all previous versions. That includes 1, a statement to the agency, or that the agency operates programs without regard.
Have these online.
Oh, thank you.
them.
Oh, thank you.
thank you.
Without regard to race, color, or national origin. Number 2, a description of the procedures that members of the public should follow to request additional information on subrecipient Title VI obligations. And 3, a description of the procedures that members of the public must follow to file a Title VI discrimination complaint against the recipient. The notice must only list the following characteristics protected under Title VI: race, color, and national origin. UPTD must at minimum disseminate information by posting the revised Title VI notice on the agency's website and public areas of the agency's office, including the reception desk, meeting rooms, etc. Subrecipients must also post Title VI notices at stations or stops and on transit vehicles. This does not require adoption because we already adopted it.
And that's what, is that what this?
And
That
then this
is
is the
new.
new public notice.
Okay.
When RLS was here, they asked us to remove all of our notices because they didn't have the correct information on them.
We had multiple versions of this
Yes.
and they were in various places. So now we have the most up-to-date version. We have one version. It's been removed from every other place
Everything.
that we know of. The website has been updated
Yes.
and
It has also been posted in all of the bus shelters and in all of the vehicles. And we're sending 2 of them down to Reedsport so they can post them in the vans that they have.
yep.
Um,
And there already was a procedure in place for how to file a complaint and that's
online as well.
that's online as well.
And the complaint forms are at our downtown office where.
Yeah, and then, wait, the only thing that we did update, on here we updated
Yes.
who deals with it at the downtown location, which is Cindy.
Yeah, so Cindy right now, she handles all of our ADA applications and approves our riders. So she is very familiar with ADA requirements. And she was kind of filtering and taking in the Title VI and then passing them on to Cheryl.
Mhm.
So we'll now just have her pass them on to George.
Okay.
But the information for the downtown office is listed on this notice as well as our mailing address here. If they wanted to mail in a complaint, they can mail it directly here.
Okay,
And
so,
is this kind of that too?
yes, yep, that is our entire policy.
Okay, and have there been changes?
There have been no changes. This is just informational only. So there were multiple versions of this. Across different platforms. We have identified the most recently adopted one and all of the duplicate policies have been removed.
And the only one that they had a problem with, as far as making it brand new, was the notice, the notification, not the actual.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, and the notice has been done and we don't have to vote on that. That was provided by Jennifer, so.
You guys
we know it's
have worked
compliant.
really hard. You probably have nightmares.
It's,
I don't sleep.
it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Okay, yes, no action required. Most recent policy has been located. We did think we were gonna have to take action on some of these things, you guys, and we discovered today that some of them don't require action, so good news. Okay, 6.5, review and approve no-show suspension policy. So per RLS compliance review, 31/2073, UPTD may choose to eliminate their no-show suspension policy or revise it to be consistent with the guidance in 49 CFR 37/125H and 49 CFR 37 Appendix D. So we are not going to get rid of a no-show suspension policy, but it has been updated. And I believe George worked on this one.
I worked on this one. I don't know if George
Oh, you did this one.
reviewed it.
Okay,
Um,
Yeah, George reviewed it.
okay.
Yeah, I did look it over. And it looks good.
okay.
Is there a separate one from the no-show and the suspension?
It's the same thing. It talks about both of them in here.
Okay, I was just not seeing where the no-show was.
Yeah, I
Notice.
pulled up both. I pulled up the CFRs and kind
Yeah,
of
where is
looked
the
at
no-show?
what.
Actually, it is in here. It was, no-shows on page 2,
Page
under
two.
number 4.
Oh, there it is. That way, that's. I guess it goes on.
Yeah. So this is, this is more of a kind of a standard operating procedure, but
The policy is pretty much the same as what it was, but we changed some of the language to be in line with what the CFRs were saying.
okay. Does anybody have any questions about this?
What was the problem originally? Why were we not?
They wanted us to be consistent with the guidance in those two
CFRs.
CFRs. It was to make sure that we are basically in compliance with ADA if we are refusing service. So you have to be, there are certain things you have to be careful
There's,
about.
yeah, there's certain steps you have to take and you can't just say, oh, well, you know, you haven't shown up twice now, we're just suspending you. I mean, you have to, if it's, they're not showing up and it's something that's out of their control, they have to be able to voice that, you know, opinion, and you have to take that into consideration. There's just like, there's steps, and we kind of didn't have those steps.
Was it kind of more for that no-show part of it then?
Yes.
And their leaning is just not to have a no-show, rather than have guidelines that we're sticking to.
No, the
having-
CFRs say that we can
Yeah.
have a no-show,
I was just-
you know,
I
we
was wondering if
can
you
have a suspension of service for no-shows, but there's
You have
just
to follow
steps
the
that, yeah,
steps,
we
yeah.
have to take the steps and allow the person to voice why they are missing their rides or,
I think
know.
it's good that you didn't drop it completely, just being in a profession
We haven't
where
had
no-shows
to-
was
we
really
ha-
an
yeah.
issue.
we generally, I can't remember the last time we've had to do,
Yeah.
you know, a suspension for no-show.
But it,
Um,
you know, it gives it more value too.
Yeah,
So-
usually your paratransit and demand response, people that are riding those, that transportation they
appreciate
need
it,
it and they
yeah.
appreciate it.
All right,
And if they're missing a ride, it's generally for a very good reason, so.
all right,
Okay,
so then.
if there are
the
no other
motion
questions, yeah, we need a
Would
motion
be
to
to
approve.
approve the
That's right. here.
revisions, as, just read it that way. Motion to accept proposed no-show suspension policy. Alternatively, we don't have, no, I move that we accept the proposed no-show suspension policy.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Oh,
who
who
was
was
that?
that?
Was that John?
John and
Or-
Lisa.
I think John beat
okay.
her to it.
That's me.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right. Okay, last one. 6.6, review and approve amended procurement policy to add disciplinary action for non-adherence. So per RLS compliance review 10/2053, FTA procurement policy must include explanation of the potential disciplinary actions for employees who fail to comply with the conflicts of interest section. So what we need to do is we need to create section 13 of the procurement policy for disciplinary action of non-adherence to procurement policy. That is not this document that you guys may be looking at. This is the procedure for how to handle the disciplinary. This is the process. All we need to do is add a short section in our procurement policy that's written right here underneath it. It will be 13.0. It will be titled Disciplinary Policy for Non-Adherence. And it will just say the chief executive officer will maintain a procedure for disciplinary process for non-adherence to the procurement policy where violations can lead to disciplinary actions, including an up to termination. And then this allows the freedom of our management to manage those things without them having to come back to us every single time to make modifications to this procedure.
So I'll make a motion that we add 13.0 to our procurement policy.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
So is this gonna be with the policy then? Will this be?
This isn't gonna be with the policy, this will be basically a standard operating procedure, so, as a board of directors, we are responsible for coming up with policy, but we're not responsible for coming up with procedure
Right.
necessarily. That the operations portion needs to be handled by the district management and not necessarily by us. So this was created by George, which is in support of this policy that we just created. So they created the procedure, we created the policy.
Thank you, George.
This is for employees.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, for staff.
Michaela,
Yes.
just for your information, I didn't see section 6.6 on the agenda version I have. Compliance,
Did you get an updated one from Sherry?
she may have sent it, I didn't see it, but, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have been updating all day.
Okay, that's no problem. I just wanted to.
So
No.
it should be in your email, the final version.
I'll find it.
Sorry about that, John.
No worries.
Okay, so where did my agenda go? I lost it. Yeah, thank you. All right. Oh, look at that. We're done. Okay, if nobody stops me, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting, so. Anybody going once, going twice? All right, we're adjourned at 4:51. Thank you guys so much.
Amazing. Amazing.
A meeting in less than an hour.
I feel hot. That was so fast.
Okay, bye you guys.
Bye. Have a
Bye,
great
everybody.
day.
Bye, everybody.
I said 4:51, right?
Yeah.
Is there